Top of the morning, legends. We've got a interesting video here. I'm going to go through my potential Queensland and New South Wales origin teams and really just looking at likelihood of them actually being picked. So some percentages there and some discussion around certain players and if we think they might be available for Queensland or New South Wales selection. We have a very interesting situation with the Queensland team. As always, a little bit understaffed. And that means I think that some of these guys I've got as like mid-tier percentages are more likely to play than some of the New South Wales guys. You see here, I haven't got too many guys. And then for the New South Wales team, I've got a lot of players that could potentially be picked. And especially with a new coach in Maguire, there's a lot that could be changed for sure. So let's go through the easier one, in my opinion, first in the Queensland team and go through those percentages. So you got Reece Walsh there. All of this is based on if guys are injured or are safe and not injured, obviously. So Walsh, if he's good to go, he's 100% locked in. Hammer, I've got next as 100% locked in the centres. So we'll go through those two first. He'll be one of the centres. Holmes, unfortunately, isn't playing well enough at the moment to be locked in. Otherwise, I would have said he was 100. But there's a potential for Dangagai to come back in, for sure. And then Cobbo, but I've got him as a potential chance to come into this team either on the wing or in the centres. So Murray Taulungi's back this week. If he's good to go and starts playing well over the next few weeks, I think he will be selected. He's been one of those guys that just blows it out of the water defensively. Like he makes all these try savers and does great things in Origin. Terrific attacking player as well. So the defense with the offensive side as well. So I think he's about 75% locked in. If he comes back well from this injury, he'll be sweet to go. And then Cobbo, I've got him sort of a 25 to sort of 40% chance, whether on the wing or in the centres there. So keep that in mind with Cobbo. Obviously, he's someone that some people do still own, and he does play round 13 if he's not in Origin. So it's definitely something to note. I think with him, if you own right now, you're holding until round 13 and make that decision there. He's not someone you'd buy anyway across the next few weeks. But then Gagai is someone that you might be looking at purchasing. If Holmes doesn't make it, he is probably a pretty easy buy come round 13 for sure across fantasy and across Supercoach. Xavier Coates, I've got him at about 90%, and I suppose Cobbo could jump onto his wing as well if they wanted to play that. The only interesting thing with Cobbo is that he's a centre in NRL now. He's not a winger anymore, so does that change things at all for this Queensland side and what Billy Slater does decide? Munster's in, DCE is in, Collins is in, Grant's in, Cotter is in, either starter or bench. Jeremiah Nanai is in, starter or bench. Dave Fafita 100%, Carrigan 100%, Ben Hunt will be 100% the 14. Hopgood, I think with the lack of players as well. And remember, guys, just let me know if I've missed anyone. Hopefully, if I have missed them, it's very obvious and it's not someone that kind of comes out of the blue. If there's other guys I haven't mentioned in these in this sort of prediction here, then they are a chance to that they would be coming from the clouds and probably an unknown risky one anyway, and unlikely that we could predict it, and you probably haven't factored that into your purchasing power. So just be aware that with the team being a little bit on the injured side, not the guys here, but the potentials, that it's something to note that there could be another couple that if any of these guys get injured, they could come into calculations as well from a Queensland perspective. So if you're thinking about them, just watch out for that. And this is obviously just for game one as well. There could be some other changes, but I've got Hopgood 80% just because I think he's too good to miss out with. I've even got Arrow in here. I've got him at 50%, but more for the fact that they're running out of players, and I think Arrow is obviously such a gun for them. I'm not sure if Billy will chuck him in knowing he's injured, but we'll see. So Hopgood at 80%. Could go for him in fantasy and Supercoach, but you could also be without him come round 13 and he would be a sell. Mo Fodawaker, not playing amazing at the moment. He's about a 40% for me. You could go like Xavier Willison was a potential, Corey Jensen, these types of guys. You could have a look out for sure, but I feel like they'd be from the clouds if they were to be selected. But again, if there's a couple of injuries there, then something to think about with this side, that if there are a few injuries, there needs to be a few more that will come in that aren't kind of on our radars right now. And I may have missed a couple, but I was going through the list of all the players that are currently available or looking to be coming back in the next few weeks. And this is where we're at. Even Maxi Plath is probably a shout, which I hope not. That's for sure. But then I've got Dearden Endor Walker at 18th man. Dearden's done it a lot, so he's at 75%. Sam Walker at 25%. So that's a slight worry if you're looking at Walker, but I do think it's more of a chance that Dearden gets it. So, as I said, things look a little slim on that bench for the Maroons there, so I have a feeling the above guys do make it, even with those percentages. If I've missed anyone, let me know, as always. And very different to the Blues bench. So, let's get into that New South Wales side now, because that's going to have a lot more of our discussion. And I hope this video helps you guys with your potential thoughts and decisions. Anyway, Tedesco and Edwards, I think it's 50-50 at this stage with that pick. So it's very hard to make that selection, knowing either way. None of us know apart from the coaching staff, and they'll make the decision as they go along. So, I've got a 100% chance. Stephen Crichton, I think now with the injuries, he's a definite 100% chance. He's done great. He's done a great job for New South Wales across the years there. I suppose the other option there, if they didn't want to go with Addo Carr, who I've got in there as an option, Dylan Edwards could play on that wing as well. Stephen Crichton could play on the wing as well. There's a couple of different options there. So Addo Carr, Daniel Tupou, I've got in there as a little bit of a chance, 25-30% as well. And yeah, you can configure this all around as you wish. But yeah, Stephen Crichton will be there. That hurts for Kiraz, I think. He's been doing really well on that right-hand side with Kiraz. But Bradman Best, I think he's the most chance to partner Crichton in there. He's doing really well. If he's fit, he'll be good to go. Latrell said he's not likely to play, but I still think he's a chance to be picked if he comes out and plays well the next two. And then Isaac Tungo, he's had a little bit of a rough couple of weeks, but if he comes out and brains it the next few, he's still a chance, because everyone was talking about him a month or so ago. So I want to chuck him in as a small chance in that one. Okay, across the halves, whether it's halfback, 5'8", whatever, Burton and Hines would be my selected picks, personally. I think they're a good chance. I think Burton, somewhere in this team, whether it's centre, whether it's 6, whether it's 14, I think he's a 70% chance of making it. That's my call. Again, this is all my opinion. You can have your opinion too, and I am completely open to that. I'm done trying to guess Origin picks based on previous years' performance, that's for sure, and what coach has done over the last few years. But then you've got Moses. There's a chance if he comes back fit and firing next week, but it would be only 1 week before Origin, so I don't rate that highly. Luai is a small chance, and then I think Cody Walker's probably more chance than Jerome Luai at this point of the season. I think he's a 20% chance to make it in this week. Obviously more of a 6, so I just got him in there just because the 6 numbers there was pretty full on. Payne Haas will be a 100% chance. Fully hooking starting position, you've got Coruscant and Robson. I think they're both 45% chance to make it each. And then I've got Egan at 5%, Brayley at 5% as well. Blake Brayley, that is. And then they could play it where they do the 2 hooker strategy, or they could go a McInnes, a Watson, that type of player that can cover multiple positions, can play some middle, can be moved to outside backs if you need it to, and obviously play hooker as well. So I've got McInnes and Watson at sort of 50% for McInnes, 20% for Watson, and then anyone else, like Burton could go to 14. They could have one of those other hookers at 14, that kind of stuff there. I've got Stefano at about a 50% chance. So we're lacking sort of clear middle forwards, just a little bit. Like you've got Campbell Gillard, Junior Barlow there. You can go Barnett in the middle, and then you can go Terrell May. They're all potential options. I've kind of got them all about 50%, except for May, I think is a very outside chance. You've got guys like, Jake Trbojevic. You've got Radley in there. I've even chucked Hazleton in. How good he's playing as a bit of a point of difference for them, as like a try scorer, work hard type of, different body type. So yeah, there's all options they could go for. You've got Talakai and Lenu in the sort of middle, and then Talakai can cover center and stuff as well. So he's potentially an option, but didn't work out last time. For your edges, you've got Hamole Olakawatu and Angus Crichton. I've got them both at 70%. Just with how many sort of guys that can cover certain positions, like Barnett, if you had him on the bench, he could cover middle and he could cover edge as well. So you've got Colin Matangi on the bench. You've got Liam Martin, who I think is 100% playing, whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. So they have enough edges that if they didn't want to go for Hamole or Angus, they wouldn't have to. But I do think that they will pick those guys. If they don't, great for Crichton owners, obviously everyone. Isaiah with Murray out, I think he's clearly going to be the 13, or he comes off the bench, so he'll be in the side anyway. And yeah, like what do you think happens here? Hudson Young is another edge that they can play off the bench who, did a solid job last time. Yeah, what do you guys think? How does it play out for this New South Wales bench and this starting side? I think a lot could happen, and I just want to mention all of those guys with all different percentages there. So Liam Martin's the definite out of this pack with Isaiah Yeo and Payne Haas. All of the rest of the forward pack from 9 up, I think could be anyone. So yeah, what do you think about it? Yeah, let me know in the comments who you think should be in sides and stuff like that. And I just wanted this to be very clear of the percentages and chances that everyone I mentioned is a chance to make it, and that could annoy you in your selection. So maybe you choose somewhere else. That's where he thought. And there's always going to be 1 or 2, 3 selections that have come from the clouds and because of injuries and stuff, or coach likes a certain player that we haven't really thought about. That could happen as well. So keep that in mind when you're looking at potentially trading guys into your teams over the next few weeks. Also, another easy little strategy to think of is just to wait until round 13 to make these types of moves when you know exactly what the Origin teams are going to be after round 12. That's when they get named on the Sunday after round 12. So you'll finish the last games, and then you'll get the teams either that evening or usually Monday morning as well. So yeah, you can wait until then and make your decisions on players coming into that section there. We're going to leave this video there, guys. We'll get into the big buy, hold, risk, sell. But obviously, when you come into that video, you can keep these players in mind when you're potentially looking at bringing them into your sides. Thank you for watching this one, guys. And we'll see you in that big buy, hold, risk, sell.